when I talked about help, this cry, when I hit that kind of the wall where I'm really crying for help, that's when I make discoveries, as with everybody. And because it's when I have to drop my normal strategies and really open in some other way. And I've, in the last 10 years, my biggest challenge has been kind of my health nosedived. And it was gradual, but it got to the point, and I discovered I have a genetic disease and affects my connective tissue. So it's affected how I can move. And so my big attachments in life have been so much physical, outside, running, playing, biking, so on. When you brought up the boogie boarding, my great love of the ocean, and they couldn't pull me out even for dinner, So I hit a kind of one of those memorable moments when 2 carloads of people, family and friends, drove off when we were up at Cape Cod and left me at the house because I could no longer walk comfortably on sand or swim in the ocean. And I kind of cracked open in a very deep way, and I remember this prayer that, may I be happy no matter what. May I, no matter what happens. It was kind of as we're circling around to that original quote. And I landed up a few months later in the hospital and had to really practice to see, okay, so how is it possible, given it can I continue to work as much as I've been working? What do I have to give up? I hit a kind of bottom then, and I remember there's a teaching from Tibetan teacher Chogyam Trungpa, which is to find our freedom to meet our edge and soften. Just meet your edge, whatever it is, fear, grief, meet it and then soften. And that's the same exact teaching as recognize and allow. It's just another language, but I think a very poetic language. Meet your edge and soften. So I kept counseling myself to do that. I kept saying, okay, there's this grief, this fear, just meet it and soften. And I had this kind of core resistance. So I got this feeling that if I opened into this grief, it was bottomless, this bottomless well of grief. And I was resisting and resisting. So finally I did what I've shared with you. I put my hand on my heart, and I kept, getting more and more tender in my encouragement. Just touch it, just be with it. And it wasn't until I said, okay, sweetheart, just open to this. It was the word sweetheart then that in some way this atmosphere of love just let me relax open to what was there. And what was so interesting was that the more deeply I opened to a very kind of acute, kind of poignant pain, to the degree it was painful, to that degree it was kind of opening to this profound sense of love and profound sense of space and tenderness. And it was almost like the more I went into the pain, the more I opened into that love, until it was very clear that that love was what I was, much as this other woman I described it. And that's the shift in identity, and I'm going to kind of broaden what I'm sharing right now, Rich. This is the shift in identity that happens when we deepen presence.